Hello, my name is Jonathan, and today I will be walking you through a tutorial of how to incorporate and utilize a very simple and effective interactive online tool into your classroom. I have 5 main objectives with this video. One is to demonstrate the benefits of utilizing the interactive online tool Vocab Journey, which moves the traditional vocabulary lesson out of basic 20th century workbooks and into a more immersive 21st century model. 2, I'll go into the simple step-by-step instructions of how to set up the program for teachers, how to add your students and choose levels. 3, I'll guide you through the 3 interactive levels Vocab Journey utilizes for students, how students invest and move through the lessons. This will give you a greater understanding of the benefits of using Vocab Journey. 4, I'll introduce you to a great feature Vocab Journey has set up that allows you to follow and assess your students' progress. This is a great tool for formative and diagnostic assessment. And lastly, I'll discuss ways to expand into the classroom utilizing Vocab Journey for discussions and even further projects. You may be wondering what's wrong with the traditional vocabulary workbook. After all, the majority of us slog through unit after unit, reading the list of definitions, filling in the blanks, taking quizzes, using the words in a sentence, utilizing flashcards, and finally the dreaded unit exam, where all that information was just jumbled up there in our inner synapses. But we learned, right? Now, though, more and more the world is going digital. Education philosophies are changing. There aren't just 57 channels, or 5 for that matter, on the television, but a world wide web, smartphones, and immersive role-playing video games. The way we access and utilize information is changing rapidly. Not to say that what was important before is no longer relevant. Vocabulary is as important as ever. As the world grows more and more interconnected, our ability to communicate with effective language and understand each other is as important as ever. Only our approach needs to adapt. Vocab Journey is an interactive, web-based, student-centered learning component that encourages students to enhance and practice reading skills. This is not rote memorization. Students instead gain the knowledge of words as they are being challenged to use that knowledge to comprehend the words on deeper and deeper levels. By moving through screens, students will not simply perform tasks that they can easily flip back a page to get the answer on. They may encounter fill in the blanks, words in context with pictures to aid them in their study, and quizzes that test comprehension, not just definition. There are sections that incorporate synonyms, antonyms, and spelling. In the Learn section of the program, students are administered quizzes on word groups, for which teachers can set a criteria before the student can move on. And in the final section, there is a unit master test, for which teachers can determine the date when all students must test. This feature frees the teacher of test construction and grading, allowing for greater amount of classroom time for projects and discussion. Moving on. Once you have signed up for Vocab Journey, you will be emailed a username and password. With that, you will go to the sign-in page, which is not Vocab Journey, but vPort. vPort is the teacher access page for Voyager Sopris, the parent company that powers Vocab Journey along with a host of other interactive online tools that I encourage you to explore as you grow more comfortable with the format and use of these tools. Alright, pretty self-explanatory here, but I ask you to pay particular attention to the bottom center of the screen and the prompt that says System Check with a red X next to it. This is a drop window Then make sure you are running and have the appropriate updates available on your computer, tablet, etc. When Google recently updated Chrome, it dropped my Flash player, so I had to re-download Adobe Flash. So periodically, just check this window to make sure that all systems are a go. Once you've logged in, you want to add your students to the system. If using Dibbles, you can upload to the vPort and your roster will sync within 24 to 48 hours. There are, however, 3 other ways to upload students to the vPort. On this page, click on the My Class tab, then Roster subtab, then click on Add Students. From here, you will be prompted to a screen giving 3 options. Add from a list of available students in the Add Existing Student screen. You can create new students or import students' information from a spreadsheet. When that's complete, return to the Roster subtab. On the left is a list of your currently enrolled students. On the right, their user IDs and passwords. It's best to print this page for your records. Then hand out the individual user IDs and passwords to your students. Also on this page, if you have the need to do an assessment test before your students begin to use Vocab Journey, you can access the Passport Reading Journeys Assessment Test. Again, go to the My Class tab, then enter Scores subtab, and click on Enable Online Student Reading Benchmark Test for Test Period 1. This will enable you, if you are so inclined, to customize the Vocab Journey experience to individual students and or further track the metrics of their progress on a deeper level. Now you have your roster, the next step is to set up your class. Vocab Journey allows you to get very specific in how the program plays out, for whole classes down to the individual student, and how you want to gauge criteria and administer quizzes as students move through each task. So here I am going to briefly highlight this information, and if you so choose to use Vocab Journey, you can tool around with its many assessment and criteria features. Alright, back under the My Class tab, you are going to click on VJ Settings subtab. The top half of the next screen is going to give you some basic settings to work with. First, you have your word pack options. Journeys 3 are words that link to in-class lessons. Academic are words commonly found in state standardized tests. And basic are more common words and, if needed, address the needs of ELL students. You can choose 1, 2, or all 3 options to work with. To the right is the level test option. This is the criteria that must be obtained to master the level test. Here it's set at 80%. Below that, you can adjust the number of questions for each level test. Below this screen are your Learn options. On the left are words per set. 10 is the recommended number of words per set that students should work with in each lesson. Sets will build on each other leading up to the master level test. Word activities required. These are different lessons and activities that engage students with words in the set. Here they have 2 of 5 as the required amount. I might adjust that up to 3. Further, you can decide if you want to require a quiz after each reading passage. In order to utilize the grade assessment metric Vocab Journey has incorporated into the system, I highly recommend you keep this prompt engaged. To the right is another prompt. Passage narration is available, and you have 2 options here. Only a scaffolding after the first read, or throughout the passage. Now, here's a good example of opportunity for student customization without losing some of the unit requirements you have set up. If a student is struggling or not grasping the lesson as quickly as others, you might click Enable throughout the passage. An auditory prompt might work better for their understanding. Otherwise, I recommend you use only as scaffolding after the first read. With everything now set to your specifications, you can click Apply Changes to All. Now, the bottom half of the screen is a list of your entire roster. And it's from here that you can begin to work on customization of each individual student. As you can see, You have each student on your roster listed, and next to each name, all the criteria and assessment I just covered in the previous section. From this screen, you can individually adjust how you want to engage each student. This is especially useful in your class if mixed with students who are working on different levels of comprehension and/or students who are struggling. But I will return to this in the assessment section of the video. In this next section of the tutorial, I am going to walk you through the many ways your students will experience Vocab Journey. This section is so you can become familiar with the program in case your students have any questions, and so that you can gain a greater feel of how you want to customize Vocab Journey. Once you have given your students their username and password, they will go to the Vocab Journey login page. This here is the Vocab Journey login page. In the center, you'll notice a really neat feature, the National Leaderboard, which displays students across the country who are currently engaged with Vocab Journey, their schools and their states, and the current point level that they are at. This feature adds a fun competitive dimension to the experience, as long as it's not viewed as a criteria to put added or unnecessary pressure on your students. On the right is the word of the day. Today that word is myth. And if you scroll up and go to the bottom, you'll again see the system check, something you want to point out to your students to make sure that their systems are up and running to the current criteria. And then over here to the left is the student login, and I will type that in right now. And we will load up. Okay, so here we have the student dashboard, the first page you will enter as a student. You have down here your word pack. This is word pack 1. Now I chose the easiest level so I can breeze through, so I can demonstrate some of the features that Vocab Journey offers. The level is 1 of 3, so we are going into the learn stage of the program. Words mastered, 0 of 80. Now 80 is the complete unit set of all the words you will test. Over here are achievements. As your students move through the different stages, games, what have you, they will be awarded different achievements and level points. Up here some dashboard, the X is your logout. Okay, and now here we will continue to level 1, and let me click that now. Now we are on the first screen of level 1. On the screen is a column of highlighted words and a word bubble prompting the student to sort words. The total is set for 80 words for a unit. Students can move through at their own pace. However, the teacher will determine the amount of time to be allotted for the whole unit, which I will show you at the completion of this page. In this first stage, the students can highlight the words they may already be familiar with. The program will still review these words, but will allot more time to unfamiliar words. I will click on 9 of the words in each column and leave 1 as an unknown till the whole unit is filled up. As you can see, the program moves through and keeps adding words for the whole unit. And here your students probably might not be as familiar with these words, so not so many would be highlighted. Now that all the words that we know are highlighted, we proceed to done and move to the next level. Here we have a prompt that shows 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and 6 weeks. The teacher can determine how many weeks for each unit. Recommended is 5 weeks for average, but I would say go 4 weeks to be a little more challenging to your students depending on their levels. And here we start level. On this first page you'll notice that some of the words are green and starred. These are the words that I clicked that I know. The white words are the unknown words. From here, you'll go to the Learns prompt, click that, and we will move into the Vocab Journey experience. This page displays one of my favorite features of Vocab Journey and what differentiates this online tool from the traditional vocabulary workbook. The student in this section will pick the order in which they wish to work on each word set, as opposed to a prescribed 20-block set from one week to the next. As you will notice, each set has a contextual theme. We have sea lions on vacation, class trip, Lewis and Clark, going all the way down along each word set. This feature will aid the student by not just teaching them to memorize random sets of words, but rather will walk them through how to use these words in real context. I am going to pick the trip to Machu Picchu. In this first section titled What Do You Already Know?, you will be given a series of definitions followed by multiple choice answers of words. You have 15 seconds to complete each one, and these are for all the words in the set. Here's an example. The first, very swift or quick. The answer is rapid. And we will cycle through every word here. After completing the rapid fire section, you will move to the word check, which is just basically a scorecard that evaluates how well you knew the words before learning them. If the student was unfamiliar with some of the words in the set, the word check will prompt the student to build a word card. The words highlighted in orange in the column are the words we were unfamiliar with. When you click on the word, it will immediately take you to a next screen, which will then speak the word to you. You will then type in the correct spelling for the word. Type in the word.
Constellation. A group of stars that form a shape.
After typing the word, Vocab Journey vocalizes the definition. It offers a picture that best represents the word, and on the right offers a series of sentences which the student will answer that best uses the word in context. The next page displays the answer next to the picture, and then reviews further by prompting the student to recall the definition. These word cards can be referred to as many times as needed for review by the student. And now on to the word activities section. First is the word activities card page. Here we have definitions, and you will match definitions to words to their definitions. We can switch to in context, and we can put the words into sentences by dragging them down. In 1883, a blank was opened that connected the neighborhood of Brooklyn with Manhattan. So the answer to that would be bridge, and the green signal is correct. Or we can go into synonyms. Strict would match to firm, and we have spelling also here. Click each sound button and spell the word you hear.
Bridge.
So,
Damp.
check answers. Oh, I messed up one. Incorrect. Try again. And here I just want to show you a little bit of a neat feature of Vocab Journey. If the student were to type in the incorrect answer a second time, Vocab Journey will give them the correct spelling of the word. I've finished 2 word activities, definitions and spelling. And if you remember, when we went back to the teaching setup, it was 2 of 5 for activities to complete the word activities and move on to the next. So here we have a bubble. Congratulations, you finished the word activities. You can do more or read the passage. For here, I will go on to read the passage. Reading passage section, the students will encounter each word in the word set in a particular textual framework. I picked earlier a trip to Machu Picchu. So here we will start the reading. In this section, words from the word set will be highlighted in bold. If the student wishes to read the section in a different format, they can click on the Live Links section, which will cascade the writing or break it up into different sentences that might be easier for the student to comprehend. After completing the reading, the program will quiz the student with a series of questions regarding the words in the set. These questions may or may not be directly related to the passage they have just read. After completing the quiz, the student will have finished a word set. Here, they may be awarded one of various achievement badges with bonus points. This feature adds a level of encouragement, bolstering a student's engagement. After completing 2 word sets, the student can choose to go on to the second level, the play level, or continue with the learn level, moving through more of the word sets. I recommend instructing your students to move into the play level after each 2 word sets, so that they can stay engaged with smaller blocks of words to firm up their understanding. In the word play section, there are 4 games to choose from: word quick, word drop, word catch, and word vault. On the bottom are the difficulty levels, and to the right the instructions. In word quick, the student is given the definition, and they have 15 seconds to answer correctly. In word drop, the student might be given synonyms or antonyms and asked to type in the word and drop it. In word catch, a student may be given a sentence with a fill in the blank to use the word in context or the definition and must chase down the correct word. Once the students have gained mastery of the word sets in the play level, they'll return to their dashboard, and on their dashboard the words will move to the master column and be highlighted in orange. From here, the student should return to the Learn section and move through 2 sets at a time in the Learn and Play levels until the entire unit has been mastered. Once the students have moved through and mastered all 80 words of the unit, they will enter the master level. Here, all 80 words will be highlighted in orange. The teacher will have already designated a test by date, which will be highlighted in red in the bottom right-hand corner. When ready, the student will click play and enter the unit master test. The unit master test is administered in the same format the students experience in the first section of the Learn level, titled Word Check. Students will read definitions, sentences, or questions and be given 15 seconds to answer each question before clicking Next to move on. Upon completion of the unit test, the students' results will be displayed on the scorecard, their percentage, and the number of words they answered correctly and incorrectly. The students may take the test again with their highest percentage saved. I encourage teachers to allow multiple attempts for the test, as our goal is for students to achieve understanding and knowledge. In this next section of the tutorial, I want to review the reporting features available to teachers that can aid them in 1. Staying up to date on student progress as they move through their engagement with Vocab journey, and 2. How to utilize the data to step in for formative and diagnostic assessment. After logging into the Vport, you will click on the My Results tab and Vocab Journey subtab. The class summary report will be displayed. With this report, you will be provided with charts on class and individual student progress. You can review levels completed, words mastered, and the time within that the mastery was accomplished. How much time is being spent on individual tasks, and are students meeting their personal goals? The second section displays the percentage of students that have completed each level in a word pack. Here in Journeys in the left-hand column, we have the levels 1, 2, etc. descending down the left-hand side, a green progress bar for each level, granting a clear visual of progress, and on the right of the section, the exact percentages. The Student Performance section gives a detailed analysis of class and individual student results regarding words mastered, average words completed per week, levels completed, goals met, current goal progress, average time spent online per week and per month, and the last login date. Reviewing this section often is something I encourage teachers to do for diagnosing any student discrepancies or a lagging behind. The teacher, if witnessing that a student is spending an inordinate amount of time attempting to master a word set or level, they can address the issue one-on-one during class time. Diagnosing the issue, the teacher may discover that the student requires extra help, or maybe there are too many words in a set and they are becoming bogged down. Perhaps they're not comprehending the readings. From here, the teacher can return to the student setup page that I reviewed in section 2 and adjust for the individual student. Also with this page, the teacher can assess how much time each student is spending on Vocab Journey and incorporate a participation grade into the unit if students are not engaging with the program enough. The next page is similar to the class report, but it is the individual student performance section, giving a more detailed account of the student's progress with Vocab Journey. This page can be printed to provide a progress report for parents and students. The overall word pack displays the levels a student has completed and the percentage completed of the level the student is currently working in. The level progress section provides more detailed analysis of data regarding how each student is progressing. The data displayed here again offers the teacher the opportunity to assess student progress and step in if there are any discrepancies, as it measures each student against the class average. The final section in the reporting section is completed word sets. Here, teachers can review various aspects of student performance on each word set in a level. Displayed are date student completed word set, student word check score, number of word activities completed along with accuracy, quiz scores, and time spent completing set. This page also offers an opportunity for teacher assessment and overall grading for the vocab section of the class. Finally, I would like to go over ways in which teachers can incorporate what students are learning in Vocab Journey into other classroom lessons and educational opportunities, utilizing what the students are learning and bringing it to life in various constructive ways. One great way to accomplish this is to utilize EduBlogs, a free blogging site for students and teachers. An example of how to incorporate this into the Vocab Journey experience could be for teachers to assign students the task of blogging on a weekly basis, posting an assigned task that incorporates a word set or sets. The teacher can determine the criteria of the blog, for instance, journal entry, flash fiction, a weekend experience, etc. This is a constructive means of moving the vocabulary words from one context into another and offering students the opportunity to truly grasp what they are learning. After posting have been submitted, the teacher can further encourage the student by having them comment on a number of their fellow students' blogs, assigning specific criteria to comment on. Another fun exercise and way to engage your students with Vocab Journey as a launch mechanism is to create an online writing collaboration exercise. This will put students' understanding to the test, along with the exploration of higher learning objectives. By utilizing an online platform such as Google Docs, the teacher can set a prompt and have each student write the first section or chapter of a story utilizing a set number of vocab words in a unit. After the writing period is over, the students can then access and comment and leave editor's notes on each other's work. After the comment and editing period is over, the students will rewrite their pieces, and finally, the class can vote on the best piece. From here, the teacher can continue this exercise, allowing students to build chapter after chapter till they have a complete novel. With this tutorial, my hope is to have given you an in-depth understanding of how to use the online tool Vocab Journey. In English classes, where teachers have to spend a good deal of time grading writing, a tool such as Vocab Journey can be a major asset, allowing more time for in-class discussions and meaningful work and one-on-one instruction. This concludes my video on how to use the online interactive tool Vocab Journey. Thank you for your time. And now let's all go learn some words.